So we have our oil temp sensor in, which I'm not going to deal with that right now. Once we get the car running, I'll go back home. That'll be in the next video. We got some wiring up to do for the electric boost controller and the oil pressure sensor, or oil temp sensor, and we might install an oil temp sensor, or pressure I should say, inside of the sandwich plate over there for the oil cooler. So we have one fan right now. We'll see how the cooling goes, if we have to add another one on the front or not. But we have one fan there. The exhaust dump goes in pretty smooth. We have all the hoses mounted now, so we should be good to start it here shortly. The air filter, this used to hang down way too far, so we fixed that. So now it's flush with the oil pan. And we got these other tubes. So we're about to chuck the bumper back on. So we got the fluid in. We have two of these. One on the high side, one on the low side, to go to the turbo for cooling. The oil feed is coming off the head, going into the turbo here with the ATP restrictor. I think of the 35 thousandths restrictor. And then there's a -8 that goes to the oil pan. And then everything else you see here is all finished. The turbo is set up for a 3-port setup with our boost controller. But right now we're not doing anything with that, so we'll run 8 PSI, I think is the spring we put in the wastegate. This overflow we reused. That's obviously coming from here, going in the bottom. And other than that, we're topping off the oil, and we're going to prime it again now that the oil leak is hopefully fixed. And then if that's done, I'll plug in the ECU in the laptop. So just when you think you're ready to start the car, we started pumping the oil by cranking it over with no ECU. And all of a sudden oil started pissing everywhere. Well, the 90-degree AN fittings were hitting the back water pipe, and I didn't know it at the time, but there was a little gap on the top. So we flip-flopped the sandwich plates, put the filter back on, and now I'm finished cussing, and yeah. We're back at the house. Right now we're running the wire gauges. Oh yeah. Oh, that's what she likes. Anyways, this is the oil temperature wiring. We fished everything through the firewall. Now we're going to hook up this to the sensor. Then we're going to hook up the gauges after our next video when we dyno this and tune it and all that. We'll get to tear it all back apart and take everything out for ceramic coating, buy the titanium heat wrap everything to the from up here all the way to the downpipe. We're powder coating all the lines. The brackets we built, they're all going to be powder coated. So it'll look much better, but for now we just want to get all the kinks worked out and make sure everything's working. We're going to change to the poly bushings, poly motor mounts and trans mounts after, once we tear it all apart, because it'll make it easier. And at that same time we'll tear the tranny back off and put a good clutch on it that's not going to smoke. I'm sure after the dyno the clutch is going to die, so but that'll be pretty much the final steps, and then after that you'll just see a bunch of racing videos at the road course and having fun. It's alive! It's running! Oh my god! Vacuum's pretty good. We got -15, and right now it's running rich because obviously it doesn't have a tune worth a damn. Here's what it sounds like. Hopefully you can hear it. I think it sounds pretty good. It's a nice deep tone. So we have the boost gauge wired in. We have the boost controller wired into the ECU. We got everything done. It idles, gets good vacuum. Revved it up a couple times just in neutral because obviously, like I said before, tune is no good. But we did notice one thing while we were warming it up, and that is that the thermostat seems like it's stuck. So last thing we want to do is take the chance and waste a bunch of dyno time and tuning time and everything. So we're just going to go get a 160 or 170 degree thermostat. Swap that out before the dyno day. And go from there, and it should be good. But every once in a while you get a bad thermostat. It is what it is. Can't really complain. So I'd like to thank everybody for watching. And if you're curious, I want everybody to post down in the comments what power you think this is going to make, horsepower and torque at the wheels. And then post whether or not you think that clutch that we have in is going to fail or not on the dyno. And then if we just melt the tire off on the dyno wheel, because this thing does not have a limited slip diff yet. So thank everybody for watching. Till next time, wrench on.